Shakur, what was one moment that you looked when you saw it and you just cringed?
Honestly, just watching myself generally on camera is like awkward and I cringe.
One scene that made me cringe was when I watched it was the one of me chasing Siddiqa down the street and I'm like, I'm not drunk.
As you were drunk.
I look back
That's
and I'm
actually
like,
my
"Oh."
cringiest scene too, because I hated that conversation. I felt like I was being bullied and I was kind of ganged up on.
Well, we had some stuff to address with you because we didn't get a chance to talk about it.
I know.
Hey, Sozahdah sisters. Let's go.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sispective. 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 Sispective.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies.
Hello.
How's everyone feeling today?
Amazing.
I hope you're all ready, because today's episode is all about sisters, secrets, and shade. Oh, that S word, I tell you, gets me every time.
Triple S's.
Well, welcome back to the Wolfpack group chat. This is Sispective. I'm Jamila, sister number 7.
I'm Nooreya, sister number 9.
Hello there, Siddiqa, sister number 8.
Hey guys, I'm Shakur, sister number 5.
This is
Sispective.
Also joining us here today is our AI sister, 11. Hey, 11.
Hi, Eleven.
And of course, the magnificent Erika Bryant, our EP.
Hey,
Erika.
Hey, E.
Hamida's off the radar, which is very on brand for her. If you guys watch the TV show, she kind of marches to the beat of her own drum. But just so you guys know, the Wolfpack is still alive, still thriving. All is good. Hamida, we miss you. We'll see you when you get home, baby.
So they say that there's nothing more dangerous than a sister with a microphone. We know how that conversation can get, right? Funny enough, I think about, us being here in the present, having our docuseries on Hulu, and here we are, fast forward, almost 2 years later, and people are wondering, where the fuck have these girls been? One thing's for sure is that us sisters have secrets. And, we love to shade each other, but honestly, it's all love. Like, at the end of the day, I love you guys. You're my sister from the same mister. Never mind. We're sisters.
I'm like, was that a secret I didn't know about? What?
We're sisters from
Coming
the
to you
same
live on
mister.
Suspect the Podcast. Jamila has something to share.
Right, I feel like maybe I've been adopted. Maybe. Who knows?
Mom said she found you in the trash can.
I thought
Damn.
that was Shakur's
That was
story.
Shakur.
Oh, she told all of us that
Mom
though.
found me in
Damn.
an alley, she said. She said she heard a little bird chirping and she took pity upon me, so she took me home to raise me.
It's funny because, like, for us, I feel like shade is actually a love language. But
it though?
It is, because studies actually show that within a family dynamic, teasing is actually healthy. If it's healthy teasing. I see we're a little different. We're like, we'll cut you at the throat, cut you at the knees, and then we'll be like, okay, we'll put you back together. But you're just not put back together
It's
the
probably
same.
Damn,
referred
what's
to as
left?
toxic teasing.
For people that don't know us and just see us hanging out, they probably think that we're standoffish or rude or like those mean girls. But once you get to know us, we're like your best friend. We're like the sisters that you never had. That's why everyone that we've met, or every girl, is always like, I'm the 11th sister. I'm the 11th sister. And we're like, girl, pick a number. We love you, but we get the sentiment and we appreciate that so much. So Shakur, what's one thing that you think people get wrong about us?
People, viewers saw only what they saw, right? What the camera shows you or what made the edit room. But I think that's something that they don't know or they'd be gobsmacked to know is how raw and unfiltered we really are. Like, they don't understand our primal and like savage instincts that we truly possess. I've never come across or even heard of another group of sisters that have the skill set that our family has. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's more like of a survival thing. So I think they'd be really, really astounded to know, like, damn, like there's so many more facets of us. You kind of see what's on the outside surface, but there's so much more that meets the eye.
I can agree with that. What about you, Siddiqa? What do you think people get wrong about us?
They view our closeness as something that's and it's misunderstood because it's like we're so close and we're best friends, but they think it's fake. Like, oh, are you really with your sisters every day? Are y'all really best friends? Do y'all really party and pray together? And it's like, we really do. We weren't just together because of the cameras. It was the cameras joining our life, not us being something in front of the cameras. And it's hard for them to understand because like, I have girlfriends, but my sisters are my best friends, and I hang out with my sisters all the time, every day. So it's like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going to Noor's house, or I'm going to Shakur's house, or Shakur's coming over, or Jamila's coming over, and they think it's not real. And that's how we've been our entire lives. We've only really hung out with each other and been around one another. And it's something that's not really known because you don't really meet a family with 10 sisters or with even 5 or 6 sisters. So I think that was really new for people to understand, is to see this many women this close, not only being sisters, but choosing to also be friends, because we didn't choose to be sisters, but we chose to be friends.
Yeah, they think it's contrived.
Yes, very much so.
Jamila, same question to you, babe.
Some people have said y'all like are codependent on one another. They'll be like, this is like a bit too much. Maybe y'all need other friends or you needed some space. I think in terms of like each character that was shown on camera, I think a lot of that could have been misinterpreted. I think since then, some sisters have evolved. If you've seen the show, I mean, like Shakur, you were portrayed as a villain. Do I think you're a villain? No. I think that...
I was?
I mean, you kind of did play the villain a little bit.
No. I think there was a couple. I don't want to say the names.
Before you answer that to my comment, I just think like, you also were going through a lot at that time. Like, you were going through your relationship. Like you were on the verge of probably breaking up and you had a lot going on. So like people don't see what's happening behind the cameras. People probably thought that I was just this mess,
Well, everyone thought that we were the villain at one point in time. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just one specific person. Like I know certainly, especially from comments and a lot what the media reported back was that Jamila was the villain, Sid was the villain, I was the villain, Robbie was the villain. I think they kind of, anytime you caught us in a moment, or like a fiery moment or in an issue, they're like all of a sudden, okay, she's on the ends and she's on the outs. It kind of like balanced out where someone was always on the outs on every episode.
You know what? I want to get down to the truth. I want to ask 11. 11, who do you think the villain was?
Throughout the series.
Throughout the series of Secrets and Sisterhood, the Sozahdahs on Hulu. Like, I want to know collectively what the audience thinks. I just want to know.
The one sister who wore the crown as a villain on the show was Shook. But from my perspective, everyone had a villain moment.
Yeah, because I'm that bitch. And everyone sees it. Thanks, girl.
All right.
Okay, 11. We'll accept that answer.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
Let's get into it. Who out of the sisters do you think can't keep a secret and just can't hold water?
Out of the 4 here or in the whole family?
Let's say the whole family, all 10 of us.
Well, Sid has loose lips and she can sink ships. So my vote goes to you, Siddiqa.
I've been known to experience more than one sister spilling a secret, whether it's out of anger or out of like a clap back, or maybe telling a secret because they were worried about another sister. So I don't feel like there is one particular sister that spills secrets. I feel like everyone has had their moment.
What does 11 think? 11, girl, which sister do you think spills
Well, you
secrets
called
the
me
most?
loose lips on the show, and I didn't spill any secrets on the show, but go ahead.
Sid, because she will say, "Don't worry, I won't say a word," and then in How Later, accidentally shares it in the chat.
But they're saying that because of the show and because of that comment you made.
Well, it's true.
But Noor still can't name a single secret that I've told.
Okay.
Name
11,
one.
go ahead, tell us.
We're not getting into that.
Because you can't.
Then it wouldn't be a secret anymore, would it?
Well, I already know Shakur is going to say me. She always says that, but...
Shakur, is that what you were going to say?
I mean, I don't think it's that Jamila can't keep a secret. It's that she can't hold water. There's a difference. She's very quick to just spurt off the mouth. I mean, even if you say, Jamila, let's keep this between us or whatever, it's not like something, I don't think her intention is deceptive. I just think that she genuinely just can't hold water and she has to say something. Like, that's more so that. I don't think it's meant for you to hurt someone with malice.
Absolutely not.
I just think that she just has diarrhea of the mouth. Like, it just comes out.
No, actually, I disagree with that, but I'll tell you why if you think that. Number one, I feel like I'm like the help hotline, right? If I feel like a sister is maybe making the wrong decision or choice, I will consult with an elder that I trust, Khadijah, and I will tell her, hey, this was brought to my attention. it's only so I can help them with the situation. And most times, you can even ask Camila. I've taken some of her secrets to the grave. For example, one of her secrets was just kidding.
But I will add on to that too, Jamila. I also feel like now that you're, damn, I was like, what are you gonna say? I also feel like in this stage in your life too, I feel like you pillow talk a lot. Like I feel like everything that happens between sisters, you go back and tell my brother. Like you really go back and tell John.
That's not true. First of all, pillow talk does happen, but I don't share family secrets.
Let me
when
get.
they
I didn't say
to me.
secrets. I said you go back and tell information. Like for instance, anytime we're having a conversation, you run back. You're like, "Let me go ask John. John, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Jamila, we're having a sister moment. I don't need my brother to chime in right now."
Maybe I want him to.
But that's not your decision to make.
Well, if the conversation's pertaining me and I want advice, I will seek
But if
it.
it's pertaining another party, you have to also get that. You have to get that respect from them, and you have to be able to acknowledge that and say, you know what, you may want to do that, but someone else may not want you to do that. So you have to respect that.
Well, to me, John is wise counsel.
He is. He's amazing. But sometimes you just want to have a sister moment, and you don't want your brother knowing specific things
I
because
can't
at the end
help
of the
it.
day,
Maybe I just need to get it off my chest.
see, you can't hold water. Ergo, my case in point.
I kind of side with what Siddiqa said. I think it kind of depends on the situation in each sister, because I think every sister has, said a few things about other sisters. You cannot keep secrets from this family. That's the thing. You just can't. Like when I released my pregnancy photo, Siddiqa said there was a group chat about it.
Well, that
I
wasn't
wasn't
a
on that
secret if
group
you
chat.
put it on Instagram.
It wasn't it was a
Well,
family
I'm just
chat.
saying.
Someone had. Sorry, actually, Google told me. And I've never seen the photo till this day.
Okay.
But Google had said, "Oh my gosh, Jamila's pregnant," and she sent it in a text message when we were in a group chat, and I was like, "What?" And that's how it came out.
It was
But it
from
wasn't the
Google.
family group chat. It was a group chat that Google was in.
Okay. Well,
Just
'Cause
saying,
we have different group chats.
Building a little bit off of what you said, Jamila, you said in this family, no one can keep secrets. But the problem is that it's like a game of telephone. The secret gets completely convoluted and it gets remixed and dubbed. And you're like, wait a minute, that's not even really what happened. And then everyone adds they put 10 on the 2. So it's like, if you're going to tell the secret, at least give it accurate rendition of it,
It's like a game of telephone. It gets lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. I think it's just a people thing. I think that people just never get it right. It's literally like you say one thing and it takes on a story of its own, a life of its own. Especially if it's a juicy secret. People just like to imagine it the way they want to see it.
Although throw it in your face like Noor. She's notorious for throwing shit in your face.
Oh, I learned from you, baby girl.
Well, at least you learned something. I learned nothing from you.
Pew, 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 pew. Shots fired.
So every family has unspoken rules. And even though we have broader rules amongst the family, including the elders and the wolf pack has its own set of rules that are unspoken that we try to abide by. So I'll go ahead and list the 5 top wolf pack rules that are sort of unspoken.
Okay.
And we've all come to a conclusion about these rules. We've all agreed these are the backbone of
Yes.
the wolf pack.
we
these
wrote them
rules.
together. Yes.
So the first rule is mess with one, catch the pack. Believe that's true.
Yes.
There's been many a times where I call Shakur and I'm like, show up here now. And she'll come up.
I ask no questions. I just show up and I do what needs to be done.
we basically
Yes.
write at dawn. Literally.
Literally.
I wrote with you at dawn.
Literally,
You know
you've
that
written-
story.
you have,
You know how many times she's
I
put
had
me out
your
of the house
back.
in my pajamas,
did.
pulling freaking 007 missions?
Yep. So basically, like I said, mess with one, catch the pack. Our second rule, if you're half in, you're all out. We don't like that fake shit. Either you're with us or you're not.
Right.
Period. Correct?
Period.
Rule 3, speak up, then make up. There's constant drama in this family. Always. There's always maybe someone bickering or one that doesn't agree, and it's very normal. We have 10 women, and we're all very close in age and together. So when there's any kind of argument, it's like, all right, girl, you got some shit to say what's on your mind. Let's quickly make up. We actually had a little tiff before this podcast, and we decided, you know what? Group hug, kisses. We got to speak up before we make up.
Well, that's because of E. Because
She's honestly,
understands
E,
us.
without you, girl, I don't know where
Erika
we'd be.
understands that. She was like, fix this shit.
Exactly. And then rule 4, be Lulu, I'll still love you. No matter what your dreams are, what you believe in, if you're delusional in it, I'll still love you, girl. I have your back. So that's something that we very much so believe in.
Or delusional in thought.
Or delusional in thought, whatever it is. And then fifth rule is her win is your win. We all clap out loud. And we're very big on supporting one another. And you got a dream, girl? All right, cool. I'm behind you. I'll hold your hair. I'll hold your hand. I got you. I'll hold your purse. I'll drive you there. So that's one of the biggest things about our family. And we always quote the Godfather. It's never go against the family.
You took the words out of my
And
mouth.
even never go against the family. And even if we do, we always sort of find our way back.
Yeah, even if it takes time, I've noticed that because there was definitely a pause in time.
And
Time out.
Going into that after the rules, it was hard to follow the rules when the show was airing because I know for me, some of the difficult moments I faced was watching playbacks of the things we would say about one another or after an argument, and that was hard for me to digest. And I would remember, like, you get re-mad, you get re-angry.
Do you mean like in the interviews?
Yeah, or like in the interviews, or like seeing something you said in scene. I'm like, oh, that's
So if the world
Happy
doesn't know,
fingers.
so for anyone who doesn't know, we watched the show with you at the same time. We saw it when you did. We didn't get special access. We had no control over editing or production, anything. We saw what you saw. So there was a lot of jaw-dropping moments for us as well. We had
And-
no idea how some things were going to be spun.
And before you enter into the scene, it's like the producers are keeping you separate because they really want to capture the live reaction when you walk into the room. So they're keeping you separate from each other so that they can get that sincerity on camera. And then when you're doing our confessionals, like, I mean, Erika, you were there. You'd be like, don't say how the girls kiss it, but no, don't talk. And she would keep us so separate. And everyone did that because they wanted to keep the authenticity of what was happening in the moment. And it's really hard to navigate that with 10 different women. Like, it's no easy feat. So shout out to the production team. Shout out to Nicole Sorrenti, to San Hang, to Erika Bryant,
To Dirk.
to Dirk,
Who's Dirk? Is
to,
it-
I mean, shout out to Brandy, to Noelle. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, there were so many people that were an integral part of this process. And shout out to Dane Joseph. It was just, honestly, it was an amazing experience. And you hear these grimy stories of how producers will do certain things to people, but we got blessed and fortunate to have people that our producers and our production team had morale, they had integrity, they stood for something, and they weren't in the business to create this unnecessary drama. They were there to just be like, hey, we're just here, flies on your wall.
No, they saw the drama. Like, we don't even make anything up. There's already drama here.
So so I think we lucked out in the sense of how we were able to work with a great team to be able to, again, it's a lot, girl, it's a fucking lot to deal with the Sozahdah family. It's not an easy thing. So big shout out to all y'all who helped to contribute to make something memorable happen.
Thank you.
And we tried to make it as real as we could. As we said, it was pretty unfiltered. And there's, as much as it is unfiltered and we're not there in the edit room, there's a lot of misconceptions that can be drawn up from watching the show based on an edit and whatnot. And I know one of the biggest misconceptions about me was that I looked very dramatic. It's because I didn't know how to behave in front of the cameras. I was so worried about showing our ass to the world and catering to the Afghan community that I was like, what are they going to say? How is this going to look? And so there was times where I was pulling off a mic or doing something, and it wasn't because I wanted to be dramatic, because I had like, let's, worry about the family. Don't go against the family. Worry. And that looked like it was being dramatic, and I didn't know how to. My feelings and my heart and my brain weren't communicating properly.
I don't think you should worry about that part. I think you should worry about the moment you sat on her ex-husband's lap and the whole world thought that you were some,
Oh my goodness.
hoe.
So
that wasn't even the case. Now that was a cut and edit. That was an innocent situation taken the wrong way. Like, that was like a clickbait situation.
You know what's so
That's
funny?
what you should be worried about.
You know what's so funny? That meant nothing to me, so I don't even think about that. But it's funny that.
But the world thought,
Yeah,
as you were getting flooded in your comments, like, oh
And I
my
was
God,
like-
she's trying to steal your husband. I'm like,
And I was
what?
like,
This
you
is
guys couldn't have
hilarious.
got it further from the truth. I laughed. I was like, it's my sister. Come on. Like, are you kidding me? And and how it played out, I laughed. I was like, oh shit, Sid, they're giving you slack. Oh no.
I couldn't believe it.
Sid was so devastated. But I mean, I left. I'm like, sorry, babe, that it happened that way. But for me, it's like, I mean, it's a business, right? It's clicks, it's provocative. It gets the people going. But Sid was devastated about it. And I'm like, girl, why do you even care what they think?
Boom, buklat. Remember
Sid
that
was
video?
so mad.
So for us, we're very affectionate. We kiss on the lips, we hug, we're cuddling all the time, holding hands. And so for me, that was just such nature. And then when it got brought up, I'm like, how dare they? Like, I didn't even care to address it because it was so like mind boggling to me.
Yeah, why are people so offended and weirded out by affection? I'm like, were you never loved?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? Do you need a hug?
Yeah,
Were you
like-
breastfed?
Yeah,
Sorry.
like we all kissing is part. Not when we say kissing. I'm like when we peck on the lips or we peck on the cheeks. Like we were raised being that. And in a lot of cultures, people kiss on the cheek, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen men, like kiss on the lips and kiss on the cheek. There was
Right.
literally just recently. It was. Alexander Skarsgård kissed Pedro Pascal like really close right here, right on,
I love
on
both
his
of
cheek.
them,
You know,
FYI, they're so
and
amazing. I
They,
love
they
them
were giving
both.
him a standing ovation, and he went and gave him a kiss on the cheek. I'm like, okay, see, that's totally acceptable. Like, why can't sisters kiss? Is that not?
But let the
normal?
world tell you that would have been unacceptable too. And I'm just like, people are just emotionally insecure or like not secure within themselves to be able to express the emotion. I'm like, you guys, life is short. Be kind. It's for free. Why does my emotion for my sister, my same mother, same father, bother you so much that if I peck her on the cheek? Matter of fact, some of our closest girlfriends now, we do the same with them. With Erika, now she gives it to us on lips because
likes
it's
to give us love.
Yeah, she likes to give us love. We give love back, but again, it's just such an innocent place of just like genuine love. Like if I give you a peck on your lips, just know I fucking love you.
You know what I saw?
You know?
David Beckham kissed his daughter on the lips at a game, and she's like, I don't know, 10, 12, whatever. And everyone went for him because he kissed his daughter on the lips. He was giving her love, and and it was just like,
That's
to
your
me,
daughter.
I know, but it was such a big deal.
Why is it
that
so
he had
taboo?
did that.
Why?
People
And
are weird. That's why
They are,
It's
and
totally
for me,
normal
What
to
it
kiss
is,
your
they're
kids on the
so
lips.
used to being behind the digital screen that they're not used to probably human connection nowadays.
Right.
And so it's foreign to them.
It is. And in the Middle East, men hold pinkies. Grown
Same in
machismo
India.
men hold pinkies. They show love. Even the Italians, they kiss on the lips.
The French,
like-
they kiss. Middle Easterns, they kiss.
But
Yeah,
I
where do you
think-
think French kiss came from?
Well, I didn't say all that.
So-
but how they greet, and I'm like, okay, so we're sisters. We peck on the lip. It's not like we're like we're French kissing and landing. It's literally
Angelina
a
Jolie
peck.
and her brother got a lot of heat for kissing on the lips.
Yeah, they
Yeah, and
did.
I'm like, why? You're embracing your sibling. What is the deal? What's so wrong?
It's just people can't.
People are awkward when it comes to emotion and love. I'm like, you got problems.
yeah, get a hug.
You should go see a therapist about
Yeah.
that, babe.
I'm really curious to know, Jamila, what was one of the most difficult moments that you faced while filming the show?
I mean, y'all bitches are calling me a fundraiser Zilla, and I'm gonna say that's bullshit right now because I did a lot of motherfucking work on that whole situation. I'm not gonna discredit the people who were there, but I felt like, like I did a lot of work, and naturally, when someone feels like they're holding the weight of something because it was real, like this wasn't the first time that the charity gala had happened. I actually had done it a year before, and then it's like you bring on the family and the sisters. You want to make it grandiose. You want to make it something special, and it's like that was real to me. You know
But
what I
see,
mean?
that was your villain moment. One of your
But,
villain moments.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So I wasn't a Zilla though. Like I just wanted the best. I wanted perfection.
Fair
but,
enough.
I mean, y'all were coming at me hard on that beach scene.
But that's what I'm
Hard.
saying. Hold on. We're correct.
I cried.
Who had your back?
Because she called you a
You had my
clown-ass
back.
bitch.
I'm not saying you, okay? I
had your back. I defended you.
You were coming hard at me,
I defended you.
Siddiqa. And you know what's so?
I think it was warranted.
Honestly,
I
that
had to
whole moment,
watch
the
it
Mean
back.
Girls moment about raise your hand if you've been offended by Jamila.
That was so wrong.
I mean, we all could raise hands for
It
each
was
other,
like when we
but
all turned our backs because Nooreya said, turn your backs on Shakur. And we all turned our backs.
You're the mean girl, Noor.
You guys see, everyone had villain moments. That's my
Shakur,
case in point.
She was coming for us on that sprinter.
No, we didn't.
Hold
You
on,
were
let
for your
me
damn
finish.
self.
I
That
was
was sent
saying
for y'all.
so, but in terms of like for real recovery, that scene played in my head for 3 days straight. I
Did it
remember telling
really?
Erika, remember? I was like, I don't feel good about this, blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, it's okay, it's said and done. And what we see and how we feel, like our audience doesn't see that emotion either. Like it still takes a mental toll on you. I don't know about you guys. For me, I'm a little more on the sensitive side. It fucked me up for a couple of days.
I love that we have the best
Oh,
gif of
Jamila,
you.
no.
out
I'm
of
gonna
that
cry right
moment.
now. I'm just kidding.
You know, I love one of
I'm
my
healed.
favorite gifs is the one of Jamila going,
Oh,
that's
my
a
gosh.
funny one.
I look
And
crazy.
your vein is bulging. And you're just
like your vein right now.
like your vein right now.
Like your vein
I
right
got
now.
that vein all of a sudden.
You got a vein. You got a vein. You got a vein.
all got
I don't
the
care.
vein.
You want to know why? I love it because that's a Julia Roberts vein.
Hey,
and
listen,
we love Julia Roberts.
That
so.
vein right there feeds all the blood supply to your face. Okay, so you need that. Otherwise, you're gonna look like I did on that meme. Like how crazy.
Dang, you were about to convulse. It was like, wow, they caught the right moment.
That
on
wasn't a
GIF.
proud moment for me either because I knew that mom was hurt by it. She's like, "What the fuck did I
Another
get
villain
into?
moment for Sid and
What? This is
Jamila.
not what I signed up for. We conned mom. We conned mom. No Afghan mother would ever be on a reality docuseries knowing what she would have known had she been told the premise of everything.
Yeah.
But then again, you never know how
You
it's going to
didn't
play
know
out.
how it was going to play out. It wasn't a con. It was a matter of you
She
just
felt conned.
She might have felt it, but
Well,
we didn't
Mom-
go in there with the intention of deceiving
Yeah.
her. It literally was just real life happening really, really fast, and things just happen. And how do you control what's happening presently?
Because mom just thought, oh, my daughter, she loves getting all of us together, especially today. We're so busy. We all have our own lives. But she just loves whenever we can all be in the same place. Imagine having all your babies together. Who doesn't want that? So she thought it was one of those kinds of moments. And then the fight happened, and it was just like, she had no idea. And so you know how much it hurts her. Mom always says, if you cut, like, we're like her fingers. All of her daughters are like her fingers. If you cut one, the whole hand doesn't work. The whole hand hurts. So that's how she relates everything to us. So that's why mom was so impacted by it.
I mean, and then like
and she's never actually seen the series.
So I have a funny story, actually. It was the scene where Hamida and I were doing the aerial yoga, and Siddiqa actually was there with us, but she wasn't included into the scene. What was happening off camera was that Siddiqa and I were arguing because unbeknownst to either of us, we were both being misled by the same piece of shit guy. And we were both being told things. We were both put in a position where we were very vulnerable. We were essentially preyed on by this person, and they felt full well what they were doing, and they were manipulating both of us off camera. And so it was really messing up our sisterhood and our bond. And I don't think anybody's aware of that secret. So now you know.
wow.
That created a really big rift.
It did. But we're good now. We're here now. It's
And you
over.
got what you deserve, baby.
And word on the street.
Shakur, what was one moment that you looked when you saw it and you just cringed?
Honestly, just watching myself generally on camera is like awkward, and I cringe.
Very typical of Shakur. You never get a straight answer. I just don't get
I'm
it.
just mysterious.
One scene that made me cringe was when I watched it was the one of me chasing Siddiqa down the street, and I'm like, I'm not drunk.
As you were drunk.
I look back.
That's
and I'm
actually
like,
my
"Oh."
cringiest scene too, because I hated that conversation. I felt like I was being bullied, and I was kind of ganged up on. And then, because I came there to have a good time with you and Hamida, I came there thinking like we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna enjoy ourselves, sister time. We actually hadn't had our own. It's funny enough, when you're filming a show, you think you're going to spend more quality time with your family, but we're spending time together, but away from each other because we're keeping you away from one another.
Right.
So me, Hamida, and Noor hadn't had a proper like sit down and go out girls' night for a while because it's always filming and
We
not
were
being
just
together.
so busy, there wasn't time to really actually
Yeah.
go and grab a drink or go
And
out.
so when I saw
after
these
film
bitches and they
wrapping
ganged
for the
up
day.
on me, I'm like, you fucking, I don't think so. And I got up and I ran off.
Well, we had some stuff to address with you because we didn't get a chance to talk about it.
I know.
Yes, there were cringy moments, but I feel like there were also a lot of good moments in the show that probably weren't highlighted. You know, for one, I spent a lot of time like at my workplace, and you know, we all have careers, and it's like maybe the viewer thinks, well, what do these girls do for a living? You know, Siddiqa's a registered nurse. She's, you know, works in trauma, in emergency room. You know, I had a whole scene like being in the clinic and providing medical services, aesthetics, and all of that. So I felt like there are also a lot of good moments. And for me, you know, playing off the fundraiser Zilla, I was like, you know, that charity gala was definitely a highlight for me. And I'm really, really glad that that was kind of where it ended off, because it showed that we were able to give back, you know, especially considering kind of where our background is and where we came from. So I was really proud of that moment.
Yeah, I
it
really
came together
agree with that.
beautifully.
I agree with that too. I think that's when I think about the charity gala, I look back on it and I just smile inside. It warms my heart. I think about mom being there. I think about hitting the fundraising goal. I just think about the memories, the amazing time that we had, the photos. How did I not post any photos from the gala? Like, that blows my mind. Is it too late to post them now?
No,
we
you could
always
throw
can.
back.
Yeah.
A recent
I mean,
throwback.
you'll like use those pictures for the next gala that we do, inshallah.
I mean, all in all, even through the ups and downs or things that we may feel indifferent about, the silver lining was that we were able to all hang out with each other in a work environment, because again, getting 11 women together, including my mom, is no easy feat. So trying to get everyone together and like orchestrate some kind of event or some kind of a party or just hanging out together. Everyone has busy lives. You know, half my sisters are mothers. They have husbands. Everyone is just, life is lifing for everybody. So that was a blessing to be able to hang out with everybody and just learn new things. Like, I learned a ton of new things about mom. I saw mom in a light that I've never seen, didn't even think, wasn't fathomable to me.
Yeah,
and I was able
think,
to see her in different ways, which was really, really special.
you know, and I think, of course, the viewers, people love to see messy television. They love to see drama and all of that. But I think, you know, even those moments that maybe weren't shown, like, those things should also be celebrated. You know, I think, like, people should be happy to see other people happy too. And maybe, you know, the reality TV world, like the Housewives and some of these other shows you see, it's like people want to see a mess. They want to see someone throwing a glass at someone, or
a train wreck.
You know, being a train wreck. And but that's where vulnerability comes from. Like, we showed a part of us that was vulnerable, and that shouldn't be taken as anything other than, like, you know, every family has their shit. You know,
100%.
and that's okay, because at the end of the day, what matters is that we come back together.
I think do you know, Jamila? I think one moment, my one highlight reel for me that didn't make the cut for the season was the memorial that we had for Dad. I thought it was very healing. It was very beautiful. It was a moment where we could all kind of heal a bit together. And when we released the white doves, it was very cathartic for me. You know, I don't get very emotional, but that day I just kind of let it all go.
Yeah, because I don't think we ever even talked about how Dad's death affected us. You know, again, like for a family that expresses so much emotion, we know how to express anger and frustration, but that was a bonding
And passion.
moment.
I mean, well, we did. It just didn't make the cut. What people don't realize is that there's so much meat and potatoes and so many layers to our family and our story that you still got to follow some kind of a format as far as making things, you know, as the editors and the executive producers have to convey a certain story. They can't use all of it. They have to be able to give a whole lifetime of a family bond in just 10 episodes. So a lot of it gets left on the editing floors, and we don't get to control what gets to be seen or not. And just some of the stuff didn't make the cut. So yeah, Noor, I agree with you. That was actually a really beautiful scene that I would have wished people would have got a chance to see. Shooting a docuseries is like having a messy room and allowing the whole world to see it. And for us, we're all very OCD, and we keep impeccably clean bedrooms. So for us, that is a tug of war to be like, I want you to see it, but I don't want you to see it.
Do you regret opening up the world to your marriage and your marital woes?
Not regret, but if I could have did it over again, I wouldn't have. There was a lot that was going on behind the scenes that nobody knew. I was dealing with a very tumultuous marriage, trying to keep it together, and I knew I had a job to do, and I had it show up every day, and I didn't want to mess up what was going on while we were filming and even make my family worry about how bad things really were. And I had to keep it together because I'm like, hey, I still got to show up to work, and I still got to do what I need to do. But I was living in a fucking, like, in the seventh hell during that time. I was like in a prison, and I was in a really rough spot, but I couldn't show anybody what that was. There were moments that you saw all that stuff was genuine, but I just didn't allow them to see all of it.
You were compartmentalizing.
I was compartmentalizing, and not just for, work's sake, but I think for myself and my own sanity. I just couldn't allow myself to go that deep into it because I think it would have been a whole nother thing. And I just try to keep it together while I did my job, but nobody knew that I was fucking suffering.
You're just putting off the inevitable because it would have led to where you are now.
I was putting off the
divorce.
inevitable, and exactly.
Shakur, do you think, because we see this a lot, right, with reality TV shows, and I don't think I've ever seen a single relationship last after a reality show. So do you think any of that had to do with it? You mentioned there were problems before, but do you think that was like the icing on the cake?
No, I was just in denial about ending it sooner. I should have ended it when I ended it and walked away when I walked away from it. It wasn't, no, it had nothing to do with the show itself. That was just something that dragged on longer than it should have. That was me holding on, trying to save somebody and trying to help somebody when I should have just been like, all right, call it quits and throw in the towel. But I didn't. No.
I think that filming that show sort of created rifts between the sisters that still, you know, I don't know, I guess echo. They say things, they say what you do in life echoes for eternity. And so I feel like there's still some stuff that pisses me off. So I don't really sit back. I haven't watched the show. I watched it one time through. And yeah.
I feel you on that, Sid. I can't watch it. I cringe. Maybe because, again, I'm in a whole different place in my life, and that was such a nightmare that I was living in. And again, it was a terrible, horrific marriage. But when I see it now, I'm like, oh.
Do you look
like,
back at yourself like, who is that?
I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, go somewhere.
You know, it's interesting because there's only so much editing and cutting and pasting you can do when it comes to shows, at least in my opinion, my Sispective. For me, it was almost like I looked in the mirror too, right? Because like we're so quick to be a certain way and we don't see how we act or what we do. There were moments for me where I looked in the mirror, I was like, I need to evolve from that, or I need healing from that. So for me, there were parts of it that were therapeutic, actually. There were a lot of moments that I enjoyed with the girls. I thought there were a lot of funny parts, too. I was like, hey, some of us are actually pretty fucking funny.
I agree, Jamila.
Right?
I thought the show was hilarious. I had a lot of LOL moments.
I had a lot of laugh out loud moments.
I watched it probably 2 or 3 times because my friends had wanted to have watch parties. So I watched it a couple times with different groups of friends. We even watched it one time with Sami, remember?
Yeah.
I had a great time. I enjoyed it personally. I think that it was a great experience.
Minus all my
overall.
own personal fucking things I was going through.
But
it
isn't
was
it
fun?
But Shakur, isn't it beautiful to be able to look at it and say, "Wow, I was that person. I forgive that person, and I love this person that I am now." Like, isn't it beautiful to look at it and know that you're not ever going to be that person again because you've learned?
Oh yeah, there's a liberty in that. There's a it's powerful to be able to feel that free and that like evolved and that like like shedding a whole fucking skin. You're just like, oh, thank God I don't got to go back to any of that. And in my confessionals, that shit was like therapy. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like you have all these feelings and emotions pent up and then it just comes out. So this is an interesting question I'm going to ask each of you. Would you do it again? Or would you do it again?
Absolutely, I would love to do it again.
Oh, now
Shakur?
in my mindset, with all the inner peace I finally have, I'm the happiest I've ever been. Oh yeah, now I'm like in a better place to operate and really actually enjoy it and not deal with all the bullshit that came with my package, you know? I would.
Siddiqa, would you do it again?
I'm indifferent. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I would, and other times I feel like I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Jamila, how about you? Would you do it again?
I am at a different point in my life. I'm kind of on the border too with like Sid, because now I have a family, I have a beautiful relationship, and some way, somehow, like it seems like with reality TV, it creeps into your personal life. Like I have something good right now, and it's like, do I need to air out all my dirty laundry? No, I actually started going to therapy, so that's what my therapy's for. But you know, honestly, I think this is why God brought us together to do a podcast. You know, it's like, you know, we're able to express our opinions, and there isn't red tape. It isn't like, you know, there isn't a narrative that needs to be controlled. Like I finally feel more liberated and free to talk on this podcast than I probably would have to, you know, speak about on the show. You know, and I think we're able to weigh in like who we are as individuals. You know, I can talk about what I do for work. Like, I'll be honest, on the show, it was kind of ambiguous. Like, what does each sister do for a living? Right? It was like a lot of going out, and we were in situations, but it's like, we actually have, you know, really credible careers, you know, and I think that part of women should be celebrated in general. You know, I think those are things to be proud of. So like, I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at. You know, I'm a businesswoman, I'm educated, I work in medicine. Like, why is that too boring that people don't want to see that?
I mean,
because it's real life too.
People, because I think, generally speaking, in my opinion, I feel that people like to watch a train wreck because it makes them feel better about their own lives, or
Very
maybe
true.
it's just a way to disconnect and just kind of take your mind off of things. And think about if you see a car accident, everyone's a rubbernecker. They all look at it when they're driving by. It's just a distraction. So I see that angle of it. Personally, when I think about what I thought was difficult with the filming, was I was balancing that and also my full-time job in private equity. And I was working probably like 12 to 14-hour days nonstop for months in a row, and I was
you
burning
would have
myself
to
out.
shoot a scene, and then she'd have her laptop right there and have to get to work and do what she did.
Yeah.
Like, it was a balancing act at the end of the day. But again, every lesson learned. I mean, I don't know. I just look at things differently now. I feel like water off the back.
I want to get into some sister superlatives because, you know, we all have been assigned these what would you call them? Not roles, but like we have these characteristics that have been attached to us. Like,
yeah, like for example, who do you think is the most likely to be late? You're all gonna say me.
yes, but that's true in real life. Although
it's
you've
not.
been on time lately.
It's not.
You have evolved.
Okay. Who do you think is the most dramatic?
I mean, I thought Shakur was dramatic, you know. I mean, I think everyone was dramatic at times.
Okay. Shakur, who do you think is the most likely to win an argument?
Back then, me. Now, how I feel now. You asked me a question.
You would say that. That was.
But you asked me a question. That's my truth. I said back then me, but now if you ask me to argument, I don't give a fuck. You can win it. You can have it. I
Okay.
just don't care about stuff like that anymore.
Sid, who do you think is the best storyteller?
Shakur is very animated at telling stories, although she
Thanks, Sid.
takes forever to tell them.
She's just very detailed.
She's very detailed. So if you're telling a story, Shakur, and I close my eyes, I could probably see everything in the story.
Oh, that's such a nice compliment, Sid. Thanks, babe.
Yeah, Shakur writes her novels.
So they're very like, get to
I'm
the
gonna give
point.
you your
get to the
flowers.
point,
I'm
get
gonna
to the
give you your
point.
flowers.
Thank you. I like that. See, thank you, Sid. I appreciate that.
And you know who's a really good storyteller is Mom.
Oh, she takes the cake.
Mom tells really good stories.
She transcends you. She transports you. In that time, I'm like, wait a minute, I wasn't born yet, but I feel like I was there.
She speaks in Proverbs too, so there's always
She's
a little bit of
oracle.
wisdom afterwards.
Right, like the fables.
Yeah.
Right? She's super, super like the oracle.
So we've been talking about secrets and sisterhood and shade. Perhaps it's time to reveal some more secrets by getting into the secret chest.
Hey Wolfpack, it's game time. DM your questions to the podcast to have them added to the chest.
Advice mode. Share one piece of dating advice that saved you.
Ooh. And who was that advice from? I wonder.
There's a couple of pieces of advice. One piece of dating advice that saved me was how to. Okay. One piece of dating advice that saved me is call your sister if you need to get out.
You guys have used me for that one.
Or like a fake emergency.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I do for Hamida all the time.
Hamida's
She does
notorious for
me.
it.
I
Yeah.
remember actually not too long ago, I was on a date and I said, Hamida, when I call you, you have to pick up and tell me there's an emergency. And so he's dropping me off at home. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to want to come inside. Like, I got to get out of this car. And so I'm texting Hamida. She's not answering. I'm like texting Nora, hey, call me. It's an emergency. No one's responding. And finally, Hamida calls me back, but on FaceTime with our homie on the line. And she's like, Sid, I'm stuck outside. I need your key. I'm out of the house. She's laying in her bed. And I'm like, oh my God. And the homie's like, yeah, we're stuck outside. I'm like, what? And she's laying there in her bed, all smiling, cut up. Yeah, I've been out here for like an hour or two. And I was like, he goes, oh, who is that? Who? I'm like, it's my sister Hamida. She goes, yeah, it's an emergency. You have to come right now. And so it does really work.
It does. Now, anytime someone says, she'll call me in 10, I already know what that's code for. That means you want me to help you get out of something, and I just put on a whole show and make it up and just on the fly.
Leave it up to Shakur to put on a show.
Exactly.
Well, damn, now you all blew our cover.
I know.
Basically,
But no one know. I mean,
And there's another piece of advice that Nora and I usually say that if you like a guy, don't get to know him because then you won't like him anymore.
Don't never smoke weed with the guy that you like.
Oh, never smoke on the first date. That's true.
that's one. I mean, there's so many, but ladies always have a backup plan. Just no, you have to send the information of the guy you're dating to at least one person. At least one person needs to know where you're at. Just have that. That's it, just to be safe, because people are crazy out there. So be safe.
True that.
Actually, that's some good advice. I don't got to worry about it because I got a man and a whole child. So, but for anyone else, that's some good advice. But, at the end of the day, whether you have 10 sisters, whether you have one sister, I'm just really thankful that people got to see us up close and personal in our docuseries. And, like our love for each other, it's messy, it's chaotic, it's a lot of chaotic. But at the end of the day, I know that we love each other no matter what. And I kind of think of us like Wi-Fi. Sometimes cuts you, you know, and
Disconnects.
Yeah, it disconnects. I mean, you really can't live without it. But at the end of the day, you know, it's all love. So
Yes.
we appreciate the fans and the new viewers that are watching us here.
Real sisterhood is illuminated by love that never fades.
Yes.
I agree. We hope that you can see yourself through the love, the laughs, the shade, and continue to rock with us. And until next time, don't forget to check on your sister.
Sispective.